We're live here on Clapper. And it's always backwards too. It's funny. Like when you broadcast on Clapper, it's a reversed image. Okay. Morning, everybody. My name is Jared. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. As usual, the instructions from the agency and agent I work for was maybe don't teach people how to fight in combat situations. Oops. I said I was talking about video games, and she said that's not what it sounds like. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna push too hard. So yeah, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Um, man, a lot changed this weekend in a good way. In a good way. Um, First of all, one of the problems I've always had with Magic the Gathering, personally, is that it's very cost prohibitive. I'm a socialist, so I'm not a capitalist. So it's like I'm not going to do whatever I can to be able to play. I'm going to pay my fucking bills. What? And I'm going to talk about my time, but like the reason my weekend was even good has nothing to do with what went on and more to do with what happened in Ukraine, more to do with the harsh realization this administration is going to have to come to in terms of these tariffs. Those shits are illegal. I got links. But, okay. So basically, this weekend, I did not buy anything, which is fucking rad. I literally paid $20 a day to park. I made one video. I told y'all I was gonna make some content yesterday, and I didn't. And here's why. So I was thinking like, oh, I'll make some content driving. I'm not recording myself driving. That's fucking illegal, dangerous. hmm Sorry. So I'm never doing that. I get there and I realize like I have to walk across a fucking street that's at a red light. I'm not recording myself while I do that, and it just so happens, in my personal opinion, what made my weekend so fucking rad is because I knew where to park in the garage. It was like down a flight of stairs, out the door, across the street, in the doors to the venue where I was spending my time. So like of all the people that went to that place, with exception to the people, and the garage was empty, so it wasn't. Oh well, you know. Um, it wasn't so much that like the garage was full. The garage was empty. Nobody's using it. Nobody knows that that exists. It's a state employee parking lot. And so like you have to know that on the weekends the right side says public and you can use those. They're $20 a day, right? So, I was gonna make a video and be like, the coolest part about all of this is how I'm finessing time and space here. All the other people parked like blocks away and had to like walk. I'm like uh, outside the door when I get here. And again, that's what I try to do. I try to be like efficient with your movement, right? Be where you're supposed to be. That's one of the things about being a Magic player, right? So what I got to do was go into a convention where a buddy of mine, like a guy I was on active duty with 20 fucking years ago in the Marine Corps, literally was running multiple events at once. Most other people that are actually employed here are running one table. He was running four vintage cube drafts at the same time. unpaid. So they weren't paying us to be there, or him. Okay. And my job was to be the anchor. So I'm the guy that's at those tables. And once the draft breaks up, I'm right. Who wants to draft again? Makes it a lot easier to get 7 people than it is 8. And then when it's me, and for the record, I kind of take pride in my appearance a little. Like I trim my beard. I was wearing nice clothes. Like I look like I came here to play, y'all. And like so it was real easy to get like 30, 40 people come over there and play. And you gotta think it wasn't very well attended. So there wasn't a lot of people there. Now, the goal, like why? Why were we there? So you're running a free event. That was sort of the unique thing that we were doing is Star City Games was allowing us to let people enjoy a vintage cube. Generally speaking, if someone has one of those, you'll never see it, you'll hear about it. And if it's not, um, how do I say this? If it's not all the real cards, people tend to not be great at acquiring cards for a cube because they don't care about the condition. So it ends up being kind of like second rate trash, somebody's garbage cube that you're cubing. And so for the record, just I'm not interested in that. But when he sent me the cube list from this was 6 months ago's holiday vintage cube on Magic Online, the powerful one with all of the 2 card combos in it. It has the Nadu combo, it has Demonic Consultation, Thassa's Oracle, it has everything. For the record, you could build an incredible CEDH deck out of this cube. You'd have fetches and shocks and all the most powerful shit in Magic. Okay. Um, so people would come through and draft the cube. And then around halfway through the cube, through the draft itself, people would be like, "What's the catch? I don't get it. This is insane." All of these cards look like the real art and it has the feel of a real Magic card. Are these pr proxies? And they're not even proxied Magic cards. They're double-sided. If you flip it over, if it's not the alternate art for that card, it's another Magic card, and it's a modern cube where all the cards are like 8th edition closer. So it gives younger players something to look at that they might recognize, right? So it's an incredible product. If you think about what we were actually doing, like drafting the most powerful iteration of the Magic Online Vintage Cube. And then if you get bored, which I don't understand how you could ever get bored doing that. I don't. I did it 12 times. I still don't understand, right? Um, you could just flip it over and draft the modern cube. So it's like a two-in-one. So once people realize this is a product, they're like, how much? And it's a cold $100 bill. And I know for a lot of you, you're like, that's nothing. Magic cards are expensive. We can't even conduct a transaction in the building and sold 20. That's $2,000 cash in a weekend. Again, that's not the point. So I know everyone's like, wow, that seems like a fun weekend. I didn't make money. That wasn't what I was there to do. I was there to be the anchor to draft the vintage cube for Magic Online, which typically costs 20 or more dollars each time you do that, and I was paying like 20 bucks a day to park. So incredible. So good, so good that at the end of the weekend, he was like, "What are you gonna do?" And I said, "I got 2 choices here. I think it's pretty clear." And he's like, "Oh yeah." And I was like, "I want to play Magic competitively, and I want to draft this fucking vintage cube at these events if I'm not playing in the main event." And he was like, "Okay." So we talked about not just the Star City Games tour, but the NRG tour. and working with the organizers to try to get, get our foot in the door and say, hey, we've got a product, right? But more importantly, July 3rd, he has a documentary that he made. It's a, like I said, it's a piece of fucking art. He interviewed some of the most impactful people in Magic's history. And I think that alone is a very valuable product. What he made is very valuable. Like so much so that the Pinkertons would get involved. You know what I mean? Like the Magic might not want that to air. I mean, it's going on YouTube. There's nothing to do about it. But I mean, something is good. And think about it. I'm talking about something I didn't make. A guy I was on active duty in the Marine Corps infantry made. And when I tell you, when you make something that you watch, which means I asked him what he did the night before. I'd asked him what he did on Saturday night. What'd you do? And he was like, "Oh, I ordered like DoorDash and watched the documentary and went to bed." That's his documentary. He made that. You get it? Like you made something fucking good when you watch it for entertainment. Watch it before you go to bed, right? Um, and that's not the product. Do you get it? It's like these are contributions. When you show up to an event with a suitcase and set up a little cardboard sign that says Vintage Cube and walk around and ask people if they want to draft Vintage Cube, and then people just come over and they're all the sweetest people in the world. Like, is there really a free Vintage Cube? Yeah, yeah, sit down. And they're like, okay. And they just sit down like, how are you? I'm fucking great. How are you? And they're like, is this really gonna happen? It's really about to pop off. And they're like, once eight people, eight. Well, we could do it with six. We could draft with six. We get 4 packs. And people are like, no, let's wait till eight. We'll wait till eight. And those would fill up, and you dead ass have people like, oh my God. And you're like, yeah, it's real. And then, like I said, for the record, your boy did great. I did great. Magic's great. Okay. I want to play. I don't want to do other things. I want to do that. I was on cloud nine. And it would be interesting as someone that has a daily live podcast that discusses news and politics to be like a professional Magic player, for example. And it sounds I'm being super arrogant and fuck you for noticing. Um, but what if I was like the nice Magnus Carlsen that isn't a prick. You know what I mean? So say all that to say, personally, great weekend, such a great weekend. It like lit a fire. Like I want to play this game competitively. I can play this game competitively. It's about reps. Because I played against people that have like won high level events and won, right? Because there's a crowd of people that would play Vintage Cube, right? It's people that have a deep knowledge of the cards. So, and also people that have none at all. We'll try to draft it and just to be able to say they did it. Hmm. Great week in the month of May. Yeah. And then obviously the Indiana Pacers advanced to the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years. Um, as a kid from Indiana, uh, we're having a fucking what? But it comes in threes. Okay. So one of the things my mom used to say when something bad would happen is that it comes in threes. And as an adult, because it's such a fucking depressing outlook, Linda, that as an adult, I'm like, when good shit happens, it happens in threes. And I don't acknowledge that when bad shit happens, it happens in threes. It's like when good shit happens, it happens in threes. And so I was looking for it. I was really like, What's that third thing? That thing that makes my tooth hurt. You know what I mean? Where it's like, ooh, we might be running a little hot here, kids. Woo. Ukraine launched the spider's web. And if you don't know what that is, you might want to look that up. Probably one of the greatest military operations known, attacking 5 air bases in Russia, taking down roughly 34% of their arsenal in terms of aircraft, which I think it was also a specific portion of their air arsenal. But to do that with drones, which have an nth of a cost of a, I don't know, one of their surveillance aircraft are in the hundreds of millions. So the cost of it's David v Goliath. I just want to keep iterating shit like this. This is a much smaller country absolutely devastating its invader. Um, I I can't undersell it. It's more than like a cap on a great weekend for me. It's like Poland elected a conservative president, and I'm not losing my shit. They have a conservative president, so going from conservative to conservative is in a socialist country. He can't control spending. He can veto legislation. He is supported by Donald Trump, but he does not have. They're calling U.S. presidential power ceremonial with respect to political power in other countries, by the way. I just want to make sure I throw that out there. So for like you are going to be sorely disappointed is uh and not in a bad way. Like you're going to be sorely disappointed how fast this shit turns over. Um, so Slava fucking Ukraine, thank you for the cap on my weekend. Um, for fucking sure. Yeah, he was ahead a couple weeks ago. Yep. So remember, there will always be good and evil in the world. It's how you take it in and what comes out, right? What comes out when you take that in. And the reason that I think it's the biggest story is that Donald Trump did not know that that was going to happen. Obviously, because he'd have fucking talked about it. So remember when Vladimir Zelensky said, I don't need to wear a suit, I got a job to do? Well, they didn't even tell Donald Trump. So, okay. Is there like world news? There it is. Yeah, yeah. Zelensky says all operatives in Spiderweb drone op are safe. Not everything can be revealed, but these are Ukrainian actions that will undoubtedly be in history books. So over the weekend, Ukraine um, lit up Russia with a drone strike that cost them $7 billion in aircraft. And again, like I said, I think this moves quickly. Now Russians are like, wait a minute, the war's here? 34% of Russian strategic bombers. That was what it was. This is all from the Kiev Independent. So one of the things you'll notice, we're not using American mainstream media. Yeah, Poland Conservative Party won. Yep, I already said that. They took out their UAVs and their strategic bombers. Hey, this is what an offensive looks like. Bridges collapsing. You're good. You're good. I was just making sure you knew. Like, yeah, we talked about that. And again, here's nuclear submarines attacked. Here's how it happened. Oh shit. Back up. They drove them in on trucks hidden in wooden containers and hid them in barns undercover. And then remotely the tops popped off and the drones take off. It's fucking rad, right? It means you can strategically place them. You could time shit. And the thing about a drone is that God, they don't have like missiles that are like good against drones. You know what I mean? What we've got are like a lot bigger than that, meant for a lot bigger shit. And that's the thing. These drones have a high cost. Um, Even though they could be made cheaper, right? It could really just drop an explosive. They actually gussy them up. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. hmm But those drones pale in comparison in terms of their cost. 20K maybe versus shoot one of the recon aircraft they destroyed. That's like $100 million aircraft destroyed with a drone. That's a turning point in a war, right there, right there. I took out your big ass surveillance aircraft with a $20,000 drone. Your move. When you have no UAVs, no ability to strategically bomb ahead, what are you gonna do? March your people into us? But I think this ends quickly. I think the outcry is why didn't they tell us they were gonna do it? And I think it's an act of defiance from Ukraine, right? They were being forced into peace talks, right? And being told they're going to give up Crimea, right? And instead may have launched a military operation so extensive that it changed the war. It was a turning point in the war. That's the hope. And you look at all the things that are going on here. You've got bridges going down in Russia, nuclear submarines being attacked, strategic bombers, UAVs, all taken out by drones. It's such a huge swing. hmm Such a huge swing. I think we'll be talking about that. I think we'll be talking about that for a while. Like I said, very David versus Goliath. And then just understand that that happened, right? Because remember, Ukraine is in a war. 4 hours ago, they show up to peace talks in Istanbul. Like, sup? You want to talk now? So I can promise you, the reason I said this moves quickly is because I knew that there were peace talks in Istanbul between Russia and Ukraine. And Zelensky's gonna walk in and say, "What's up, bitch? You want to keep playing? You want to keep playing games?" That was 1/3 of the drones I have in your country right now. Get out of Ukraine, all of it, every square mile. Clear out. And there's nothing you can do to stop this operation. You can only beg for forgiveness. You can only sign a treaty and leave my land. It would be great, and that was 4 hours ago. Oh, you're a lot more willing to negotiate when you know that you can just continue to lose your military, your mobility, your eyeballs, right? If you take out their UAVs, their long-range bombers, and their nuclear subs, think about that. And their bridges to be able to move large groups of people and shit. That's what bridges are, military objects. That's why I always think it's funny when people are like, "Oh, that's such a pretty bridge." What do you think that's for? What do you think a bridge is for? Why would we need to cross a river? Is it because interstate travel? That's why? War, military gear. That's what that highway exists for. So let's go ahead and block. Appreciate you being forward about it though. On hey, on Clapper, they can just straight up spam porn in your comments. So good luck with that. I hope you're having fun. But yeah. Oh, to the surprise of no one, remember Israel is shooting into a hospital and then saying Hamas was hiding in the hospital, shooting at Israel. The camera footage shows that there was no shooting, obviously from within a hospital. Oh, hey, check this out. Along the lines of that spiderweb attack, Russian military freight train blows up en route to Crimea. Oh, huh. That's wild. Hey, because history repeats itself, there's a reason I'm saying this. Uh, Russia warns of NATO attempts to re-enter Afghanistan. Talking a lot today about what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. I mean, it's good when you're, this is all good shit. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. This is what happened. This is what the rich and powerful are doing. Look at this. UN nuclear watchdog. Iran conducted secret nuclear activity with undeclared material. Remember when I keep telling you an attempt to destabilize Iran's ability to build nuclear weapons is the plot of Top Gun Maverick. And every day, the U.S. inches closer to repeating that. Literally doing it like they do it in the movies. But yeah, a conservative historian, which in the United States just means somebody who lies about the past. And a lot of people, of all the types of comments and stuff that I get, a lot of people have said, I appreciate you, um, but how do I get involved? The best way to do this is to stop giving your enemy your information. It's now time, I think, because they're compiling information, doges on all Americans, and Palantir's paying for this. Um, Now's the time to delete me off the internet. Get rid of your Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter. You might want to get that stuff just deleted off the internet. I don't have anything to hide. For the record, I've thought long and hard about it, and it's like, you know what? I have a degree in social media, and I was really good on social media, so I don't have anything to hide from. You can go check me. I'm sure there were worse iterations of me in prior, you know, versions or whatever. But say all that to say, if there were ever a time to just delete those profiles, the reason is because I said my mic sounds weird. It might be stuck to my face. So it was stuck in my beard. That's my bad. See how, yeah, if it's not against my face, probably better. That has to be better. For some reason, it was just jabbing me in the ear hole. Is that better? I guess I could talk and that would help. Okay. Oh, everybody, why didn't they order a recount? Remember? Remember? Okay. Just gonna keep. Okay. Remember what illegally it's called precedent. Okay. Um, man, we're just damn Jared. Uh, I just want to thank you all for being on this journey of just being right all the time and just focusing on the fucking news and when you have questions about the law, you go look it up and you just read it and you try to have an understanding. And damn if you don't. Damn if you don't. So the 2024 presidential and Senate results called into question as lawsuit advances. Do I need to do the, hey, wake up? Hey, listen! Like the male Navi from Zelda. Hey, listen! Link's little companion. This way. This way. I don't know, was that right? Was that? Yeah, New City, New York. Here's the AP News story. That'll put some gas in your tank. Okay? Yeah, so everybody wondering what happened on TikTok. Oh man, people were just real scared about getting like arrested in their house and shit. And they said, they had protected themselves, um, and they had armed themselves, but they didn't feel very John Wick. But it was a husband and wife, and they go to the range, and I just said, I play video games. And it just so happens that I have a very specific set of skills based on my time in the Marine Corps Infantry, in 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines Weapons Company. Um, I actually did that thing, did that stuff. And when I came home, I didn't want to like hurt people, so I just like play video games and play Magic and shit. So, they put out all these last man standing battle royale type games. H1Z1 and Fortnite and Apex, and what I was doing in my eyes, Your Honor, is I was blending real terms used, guys, sorry I burped, and also video games strategy. And I really don't think their algorithm appreciated that I was telling people what's most important once you've armed yourself is maintaining uh, elevation, cover, and concealment. If you don't have one, you get all three, right? Them's the rules. So naturally, you don't fire your weapon from an uncovered position, right? One of the things that I try to get my teammates to do when I'm playing video games with them is don't stand in a doorway, create a silhouette of yourself, and fire. That's stupid. That door is a choke point. You either want to shoot through the door or get through the door, right? But not stand in the fucking doorway, right? Not stand in the window, right? And again, I'm talking about video games. You're probably more accurate from the prone position or kneeling, and definitely probably not standing. You're probably going to shoot accurately sitting down with your with your weapon on a rest. Too bad you can't do that in a video game. Damn, see what happened in Colorado? No, we'll figure it out eventually. Ooh, makeshift flamethrowers. Suspect booked on a range of charges after allegedly carrying out an act of terrorism on a pedestrian mall in Boulder, Colorado on Sunday afternoon, using what police are describing as a makeshift flamethrower against a crowd of pro-Israel demonstrators. Oh, yeah, I don't care. So, next. Do you have any other questions? The word allegedly was used, and also pro-Israel. The victims were pro-Israel. They're not victims. There wasn't a flamethrower used. Show me some footage, or I call bullshit. Allegedly. Anyway, keep it moving. Hmm, This shit is bananas right here. Oh, hey, by the way, I am potentially going to be where you are. If you live in or near the following cities: Houston, Texas; Orlando, Florida; um, Las Vegas, Nevada; Baltimore, Maryland; um, there's Vegas in a couple weeks in here in June. There's So it goes Vegas, and then I know Baltimore's late October, and then there's an event in November, and there's another event early October. So three of the four events I'm talking about are October or later. Orlando. So it has to be Orlando. Wait, I'll look it up. So long story short, what happened is that the guy that I was hanging out with is like a former competitive player, and he's friends with former competitive players, and they're starting to come back around to Magic. And for example, Darwin Castles, fucking sweetheart ass, a really good Magic player from a long time ago, and he hasn't played since 2005. He's gonna play. So, or at least we're hearing rumble. I heard a rumor from like one of his friends that he might play. Okay. What up, Albie? So, if you live in Orlando, Houston, Baltimore, Las Vegas areas, here is a link to where you can see Orlando, Houston, Baltimore, Vegas. Okay. And also, last night, he was like, my buddy was like, hey, have you heard of this Nerd Rage Gaming? Okay. Final Fantasy Team Sealed. So, for example, there's also an event here in Indy, June 28th and 29th. Okay. So yeah, if any of you live in Orlando or Vegas or Houston or what was the other one? Baltimore, I'll be in those, potentially be there in those places. I'm gonna try to make it happen with work. Cool. I got the itch. And I guess they just aren't. Other events. That's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find the actual event schedule. Oh, interesting. Mayor race for New York City this month. Okay. But yeah, I think things are looking up. Like I said, Atlas asked, did they kick you off TikTok again? Yes. Atlas, they kicked me off for 1 week. Um, from my agent, Penelope Jones, she just asked me if you get it out of your system, have the little conversation with your audience that, we're not going to be able to teach people how to fight and defend themselves using military terms under the guise of you playing video games. Like, if you're a smart person and you listen to you, you're like, he's dangerous as fuck. Kick his ass off TikTok for a week. Because I was telling people to get cover, elevation, and concealment before you engage. We talked about intersecting fields of fire, right? Like, don't stand next to each other and fight. Like, spread the hell out, and that doorway's a choke point, and you're just ba 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 as people. But I was talking about Fortnite. I was talking about H1Z1. I was, you know what I mean? I was talking about Warzone and Apex. I wasn't all the video games that I play wasn't like Fire and Move and shit like that. Yep, correct side. The actual graphic was when I was doing this, talking about placing your crosshair right here. Um, he did that was the actual clip that got us banned. We're just full disclosure. I was talking about Fortnite. I don't know what y'all are talking about. But yeah, it was because people were talking about, like, I'm not getting kidnapped by ICE. I watched a video today before I went live of two men going up to this dude's porch in New York and kind of demanding he stop recording and that they want to ask him about something he said online, right? Yeah, we were just trying to win. I was just trying to find teammates to play Fortnite and Apex. In fact, I was telling them Atlas right before we got banned. I was telling them that I played in an Apex tournament, like hosted by the developers. It was like a prize pool. Like, I made money off this. And I had just started streaming. This was years ago. And I couldn't find anybody that I knew to pick up Apex and be my fucking teammate. Um, and on the day of the event, the guy I had practiced with leading up to that we had went on a sick ass run too. He was like, "I'm out." And so on the day of this event, I had to get a teammate that I didn't even know, and it was a duos tournament, and we made it to the top 16, which paid, and we got like 11th. That's not what is important. We had to pay like several games to get to that spot. And mostly what we would do in the It was like the northwest corner of the map. There's like a really high piece of elevation. We just get snipers and go sit up there until we identify people and then just go hunt them. I just go hunt them down and leave my sniper up there or play sniper and have them go if they're any good. So yeah, I was having that conversation while using terms about the military because people in my audience were talking about not getting picked up by ICE and shit. And I said intersecting fields of fire and fire and move. Remember? So, say all that. So there's this video, this they walk up to this white dude and they're like, we're with the FBI coming to talk to you about something you posted on the internet. And he's got his camera on him and he's like, "Oh yeah? Yeah? What's your name?" And they're like, "I'm not gonna tell you my name. Will you stop recording?" And he's like, "No! It's a violation of my First Amendment right. I'm gonna record this entire interaction. You goddamn right. Your face, my camera." Mm-hmm. And like the guy's like, "Okay. Um, we just wanna talk about something they posted on the internet." It's like, "You're not with the FBI. You're not with the FBI. Show me your badge." And the guy's like, "Oh, badge is on my hip." And he like looks at it, "Does it have your fucking name on it?" "Oh, it doesn't have your name on it?" Yeah, you guys might want to go leave like now. So I just want to point out that hey, don't be surprised if a lot of these people getting picked up and arrested and fucking trafficked and kidnapped and shit is just people taking it on their own liberty. Hmm. Remember, ICE already was operating with limited jurisdiction. They don't have warrants for these arrests. You get due process. If you're gonna get fucking deported, you're not also getting fucking detained unless you've committed a crime. And oh, by the way, that's because of the Laken Riley Act that Donald Trump himself signed. So no, you're not supposed to have ICE at people's deportation trials, kidnapping and trafficking people after they win their fucking deportation case. Okay? In Iceland, 90% of workers have a 4-day work week. Pilot started in 2015. 1% of the working population. 2019 was implemented. Yeah. I would love to work like Monday through Thursday, have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off to play Magic competitively. That's my goal. And I want to work Monday through Thursday, have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Just work 10 hours a day, whatever, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Because I have the potential in to a group of competitive players that are getting back into playing Magic. So it's like you could play against really good players too. And that's what I need, right? I need to play like I don't want to play poker. I don't want to play poker. Why? Because they've already built an AI, a bot that you play against for training for poker, and I'm not gonna tie myself to something that people are using AI to play. And the best in the world are doing it. Why? It's because other people don't play optimally. So you have to play optimally. But there's too much going on in Magic for a bot to be better than you. There's just too many interactions. So yeah, like I said, playing Magic all weekend. I played like 12 Vintage Cube drafts live over a 3-day weekend. Um, and realized as I was beating everybody's ass, I gotta play high level Magic. Like I can't. This zero stakes, people making a million procedural errors. Like I want to learn the rules of the game. I want to get better at this. I want to be like professional level. Um, And it's not because I was getting pissed at people sucking at Magic. It's that I had the I had the unique advantage of having the card list before I drafted, right? So I had intimate knowledge of what was in the cube and then drafted it a dozen fucking times in person this weekend. And all I came away from it with, like, I obviously individually can always improve, but I want to play Magic competitively because I was playing against other good Magic players. Yeah, sure, there's every now and then you get paired against somebody to know what the fuck they're doing, right? And I was consistently winning. And even to the point where Burkhead came over and he was like, "You notice how I haven't referred to you as the anchor anymore?" And I was like, "Isn't the anchor just like the one that sets us down and like I'll play, that means you only need seven?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, just a guy." And he was like, "Yeah, you're not, you're the ringer." And he's like, "So I got to be careful who I send, right? Because if I send you a bunch of inexperienced players, you're not gonna have fun." And so he was packing my tables with people he knew, right? Because he's a competitive Magic player as well, and from the northeast part of the country, which is like a hotbed for Magic the Gathering. And one of the great things about Magic the Gathering is it's a very inclusive community. A significant active portion of the player base is trans. hmm Um, I'm just stating, like, I befriended so many trans people this weekend. hmm Doesn't affect me at all. They were fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Yeah. Beat that ass. I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? And I went and watched the people playing in the top eight. I watched the top eight and the top four. I stood right there and railbirded it, and I was just like, I'm a better Magic player. Mhm. Which is completely arrogant. That's not true at all. So it's just, remember, it's just a game, right? But the potential for impact. I always look at a community before I'm gonna like dive in. I got into coaching, but suffice it to say, man, in Indiana, they're not gonna hire you unless you're gonna be a teacher. And I'm not taking that kind of pay cut. Not at this point in my life. You know what I mean? And I asked, talked to my wife about going to events, and she was like, just make sure you fix your schedule at work and don't get fired. You know what I mean? Man, this administration loves the First Amendment, huh? Here's the um, VA physicians and scientists not publish in medical journals or speak with the public without first seeking clearance from political appointees of Donald Trump. Yeah. The FBI is investigating. So, by the way, remember, what did we learn, kids, in our election? What did we learn about when is election fraud most likely to happen. Does anyone remember, class? Well, the only person watching on Clapper left. So, does anyone remember? When elections are close. That's right. hmm When the elections are close is when it's most likely there was election fraud. So if an exit poll shows it's too close to call, and you look and you see 50, 50, 49, what does your brain say? What is your brain telling you? There's a reason he's trying to dive out of the spotlight, right? Right? Yeah, it's most likely to happen in red states. Yeah. No, I'm talking internationally, right? When is fraud most likely? When elections close. Who's recently trying to fucking, right? Who's recently trying to back out of the spotlight, right? We're sitting here like in a chipper mood, kids. In a chipper fucking mood. Am I not? In a chipper mood? Burp. Justice doesn't look like or sound like or it doesn't arrive when you want it to. Yep. Good question, Angie. Great fucking question. Hmm. Hmm. And remember, a narcissist doesn't not want the spotlight. But I'm gonna end my government spending. I'm gonna go crawl back to Tesla. Tesla's doomed. Why the fuck would he do that? I mean, he did apparently is in a little love triangle with Stephen Miller's wife. So, botched penis surgery. Morning, Bob. He has arrived. So the show good. Thanks for hanging on, everybody. Show can start now. Bob, you missed it. We're having a hell of a day. Smarty, here's the cliff notes, Bob. So, Angie, do you pronounce that throw upple in terms of those three? But tis. Oh, this weekend is the Final Fantasy pre-release. So, I think I'm gonna go do that. But you'll never be alone. Yeah, and again, go attend a protest. Like now more than ever, I'm going on Friday to attend protest. I'm going the following Saturday to attend protest. I'm gonna hopefully be in Vegas the third week of June here. I'm trying to get it all in. Hey, oh by the way, let's talk about climate change. Gotta get that shit under control. A fucking sap. We're all gonna fucking die. There are literally like multiple things that are hyper critical to our survival that are on a tipping point. Also, want to point out massive fucking volcano. I don't remember where. Gonna have a big impact on all of us. And also, one of the things that I learned, you know why climate change is bad, MK? As the global average temperature climbs, it pulls magma to the surface. It's like magma's drawn to that hot, moist air. For those of you that like could never figure out why the global average temperature rising is such a bad thing, Jared. because volcanoes or will fucking destroy everything they touch. Um, yeah. hmm So, got to get climate change under control. Things are gonna be fucking crazy, right? Weather's kind of crazy. I would go ahead and have fun now. Go do the things that you want to go do now. hmm Yeah. hmm Yep. I'm gonna wear a mask more and go out and do stuff. hmm Yep. Before it gets real hot. hmm It's gonna get real hot. Okay. Yeah. Zeke said there was a tornado forming in Maryland. Since when does tornadoes appear in Maryland? Right? That's not to say they haven't had tornadoes. I'm not from there. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people are like, Jared, what do we do? How do we get involved? You have options. Okay. One of the first critiques that I heard about Americans is that we won't organize daily protests. Okay. I would like to introduce you to May Day. May Day, since May 1st, has had a scheduled protest, an organized protest every day since May 1st, and it's a 90-day thing. By the way, South Korea protested for 3 months twice to get their shitty president fucking removed. So again, like words coming out of my mouth, you're like, "Brr, brr, 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 brr." That's how you remove a shitty president. Daily fucking protest already happening, with or without you. Washington, D.C. Okay? Already happening with or without you. Now, what if you're like, Jared, I can't go to DC? Okay. Here's 50501, 5050.1. Okay. Here's Indivisible. Okay. Get involved, right? Hey, join a fucking union. I have joined Working America because there isn't really a union for an anti-capitalist. Okay. Um, I'm an anti-capitalist. I work in an anti-capitalist uh, job. Okay. I'm like the anti-finance. Okay. So there's not really a union for that, for an ethical finance person. So I joined Working America. And if you feel like I do, that there's not really a union for what you do, join Working America. That's what it's for. Now, that isn't to say there isn't a union for whatever you do. So you might want to do a little Google foo. Okay. And that rhymed and it was unintentional. Okay. So there you have it, though. There's the May Day movement. That's every day there's a scheduled protest in Washington, D.C., 90 days of it. Obviously, there's 5050.1 and indivisible.org. There's a couple places for you to get involved in your local protests. Coming up this weekend, okay? This is interesting. Poll dash rev. I was thinking, Angie, I thought you said on God, and I was just like, what? I don't think that's the correct use of that. You said Danny's ice raids are so awful. Yeah, many videos of ice being chased by a large crowd. Yeah, that's what we were talking about a little earlier, where I said I saw this video of a guy recording on his porch, and these two men roll up and they're like, "We're with the FBI." And he's like, "No, you're not. What are your names?" And he's like recording them, and they're like, "Will you please stop recording?" He's like, "No, that's my First Amendment right." Like, what the fuck? Like, okay, what are your names? We're not going to identify yourself. What's your name? You're not going to identify myself. Okay, we're here to talk to you about something. No, you're not. No, you're not. Can we go inside? Can you stop recording us? No. No, I can't. What are your names? Oh, you're not going to tell me your fucking name? Oh, your badge? Oh, that doesn't mean anything. Do you have a warrant? Oh, you don't have a warrant. Okay, so you're going to go get in your car and leave? Like, do y'all not like America? Do you not like that we have fucking rules? We have a constitution? Do y'all? And they both couldn't even look at him. They had to turn away. And he's just like, yeah, yeah, you go get in your car and you think about what the fuck you're doing, you idiots. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Now, obviously, those are not fucking feds. Those and again, that could have been a fucking made up scenario. But the point is, I have said from moment one, often operating without jurisdiction or a warrant, these ICE raids are unconstitutional. They are kidnapping and trafficking of people. And I had said for a while, I'm not going to advocate for violence, but you really don't want to be taken to a second location. And now I'm saying I would be defiant, but ultimately, if they are going to take you to the ground and arrest you and shit, understand that what they are operating on is flimsy jurisdiction. And what they're actually doing by taking people into they're actually illegally detaining people. hmm hmm You got to have a legitimate reason to detain someone. Mhm. It's part of the Lake and Riley Act, which Donald Trump just fucking signed, that says they got to be committing a crime. That's why he's trying to criminalize talking bad about him. That's why he's trying to get people to not talk about shit, and it's why he's trying to control your doctors and shit and their ability to write about stuff, right? So keep in mind, we have amendments for a reason. And there's a reason that Kamala Harris amassed a whole bunch of lawyers. And again, I've said justice doesn't happen quickly. That's not how any of that works. So 100%, I'm wondering if Donald Trump winds up in The Hague in June at this rate. So again, I know it's a rocky ride and every day it feels like you're being oppressed and shit, but know that these people fucking suck at this. How the fuck do you have a House and Senate and can't pass bills? You gotta start being realistic about the situation. They fucking suck at this. They're committing fucking crimes in broad goddamn daylight, and it just takes some time. Just takes some time. Justice doesn't look like or feel like or taste like or sound like what you fucking thought it was gonna do this. Yeah, we got lame motherfucking dictators. These people are terrible. But you can't let them get you down. You can't martyr them either, so you can't wish somebody would unalive them. Don't do that. Don't waste your energy because it's bad juju. Pray for their death. I don't give a shit. Do not pray for someone to unalive them and martyr them and then forever entrench their ideology into America. Dude, no. Let them pill themselves to death. What are we talking about? Because that's what I smell. Yes, I can smell when people are gonna unalive themselves. Yep. It's about that time. Or, you know what could happen? It's too hot on Mar-a-Lago one day, just like that. hmm And then here's the thing. Here's the thing. If Elon Musk is on television with a black eye, what do you think he's trying to do? He's trying to be martyred, right? But yeah, buy a taco suit. I should buy a taco suit for these protests. I mean, what's anyone gonna do, right? I'm a massive human. We just show up, hey, what's up, big talk? Trump always chickens out, right? But that's one of the things you should never do. Yeah, Taco Tuesday, baby, right? Paranoia, my mind. Oh, I did get asked this weekend with a straight face what my problem with the US healthcare system is. Um, hmm. Well, to start with, it's for profit. Okay. Imagine he croaks on a Tuesday too. See, that's the kind of legacy I want for him. Yeah, yeah. I literally want Latinos to become the richest among us simply because Donald Trump dies on a Tuesday. If you're Latino, say amen. And remember that in my eyes, Donald Trump has killed over 1 million people. hmm Between COVID-19 and Gaza alone. That's not counting Ukraine. I think he has blood on his hands. I mean, as do all these Netanyahu's, Putin's, but yep. Like I want it permanently burnt into people's brains that in this house we get Mexican on Tuesday night. Why? Because that fucking Cheeto, that piece of shit, died on a motherfucking Tuesday. You know what else? You know what else? You know what else? Here's the duality of man, okay? You know the only problem with this, right? Okay. Some of you might not be familiar. Well, remember, he's not doing that. Your elected officials are. On a Tuesday, girl in the club and she Tuesday. Anyway, I'm just letting you know, if Taco Tuesday runs infinite. That just means going up on a Tuesday with that Drake song. forever too. Just letting you know. It's going up on Tuesday. The apology video in a cemetery. Yeah. Yeah. Ping. Ethics alarm. Witnesses to pay to play. Oh, by the way, Social Security checks are gonna get smaller come June when they start taking your wages, start garnishing your wages. That's one of the reasons I want to play competitive Magic again, to make money to pay my student loans off. Because if you're really good, at Easy G, up to like 20 G a weekend. Yep, $100 million. Mm-mm-mm-mm. So, for a disloyal person, Donald Trump sure has a lot of people willing to be disloyal that support him. And again, I'm not religious, but always watch for the helpers, right? Hey, the thing about if it costs us $5 to make, then it's fine. So here, on June 14th, the new Pope will be holding mass to directly combat Donald Trump. In addition to the No Kings protest, your state capital, probably made with China in the tag, yeah. They fucked up our 50501 when you go to use it. It's tough. Oh, those steaks are like Walmart steaks. Yeah. Hey, if you want to know where not to put your fucking money, okay? Listen, you can't make it happen, okay? You can't make crypto happen. You can't make digital assets happen. No. Decentralized currency is not the way forward. This is a money laundering scheme and a scam. Please do not get wrapped up in that shit. Also, I need your help. I am having decision paralysis on what color sleeves to get for my vintage cube that I have. Yeah, OPEC agreed to increase production to 400 by 400 million barrels. So the gas market's gonna crash. What color should I was thinking, actually I just found it. There's a silver sleeve. It's called Justice. I feel like we're required to sleeve my cube in Justice sleeves. Thanks for thanks for playing. And there are 100 of them. Mm, 100 of them. Free delivery. Let me see if I can find it though before we get out of here. Uh, OPEC? Here. Here's the news story. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna do Justice sleeves. They're silver. Or should I do gold? Is the question. And obviously, you can always re-sleeve the cards. It's not that deep. But I am gonna put them in perfect fits and then sleeve them. Hmm. Mm, 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 mm. 1.2 thousand and I got $10. So people say like we'll just tell you everybody's still there. Yeah, silver's cool. The sleeves are also called Justice. For some reason, Dragon Shield. Um, but you can always change it. But yeah, just putting it out there. I told everybody in the Discord, hey, go get gas. I called my wife yesterday when I left my house. I called my wife and said, babe, I went into the BP because it was 278 a gallon, and that was the first time I'd seen it fucking below 280. And I was like, I'm gonna stop and get gas at the BP. And when I got to the pump, it was 288. And again, it was only a dime, and I'm not pissed. It's just I before I left my house yesterday, I watched that Mr. Global video somebody sent me where he was like, "Hey, I'm just putting letting everybody know the gas market's gonna fucking crash because Donald Trump's dumbass. This is the third crash in 4 years, and it's Donald Trump's fucking fault." Um, and I told my wife, "Go get gas. It's already more expensive at the pump than it is on the marquee. It's only gonna get worse." So hey, now that you've heard it, go get gas. Um, yeah, and I appreciate all of you showing up. Um, you want to hear something crazy that'll just stun you the rest of the day, and I'll let you out of here. There's like 14 people in here. Guess you want to hear something that'll make you be like, what the fuck? We had 1.2 thousand unique visitors on that clapper. That's more visitors than we've had on my show in about 2 weeks. Oh, we're being throttled the absolute dog shit out of on TikTok. They do not want me there. Um, so we need Neptune and Skylight to get their shit together. Good, Gabby. I'm glad you got a hybrid. Hey, the good news that you missed we had a lot of good news. I feel like we had a lot of good news. Ukraine had a heavily successful spiderweb attack in Russia yesterday. We went over all the pressure points that they obliterated. And then also, electricity will increase by 25%. Well, it should, Gabby, because it's going to be hot and your air conditioner is going to run. Yep, Neptunes and skylights. Yeah, I'm praying. Look, I'm not religious. You know what I'm saying? I'm praying to the computer engineering gods that Neptune and Skylight get their shit together ASAP. I'm not, again, not religious. I hope that the people making this shit, well, it didn't link. What? Atlas, what? I need to be able to go live on Neptune and Skylight. And it's not that Clapper isn't doing it for us. We had 1.2 like 1,200 viewers, unique viewers, not at one time, on TikTok today, and somebody gave me $10. That's more than I've ever gotten a show. Destiny's Schizo arc. What? Like, just Google that. Okay, okay, it's legit creepy. It's legit creepy. For the record, one of the things I've learned is in my lifetime is don't get to know anyone. People equal shit. You know what I mean? Like, you really gotta be careful who you call your friends, man. You just don't know. You know what I mean? I try not to be adversarial. You know what I mean? But just watching like the opening couple minutes of that video, it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me explain this. You normally don't see someone who's not trying to uh I have an education in social media. If I wanted to gussy it all up and do it for the likes and the comments and the follows, I could I could do that shit. But I don't want to do that shit. People like me don't normally have 16,000 followers in 6 months. Ask anyone that you've ever met that has a large following. I'm not an overnight success. I'm not making money. It's one of the things I talked about with my wife very quickly. Do you know how easy it would be to try to grift off of this group of people? Do you know how easy that is? I don't want to ever be in that situation. I asked for help when I needed it, and people were kind and gracious. And oh, by the way, if I borrow money from you in my darkest moments and you would like to be paid back, I would like to pay you back, by the way. When my furnace went out and my community bought my wife and I multiple items to help us get through snowstorms without a furnace in my house, and my house was still warm because of my community. Uh-huh. That will be what I got off my community. When you start making money off of your community, you are going to meet people that you are never gonna like them. And they're gonna want to be your friends, and they're gonna be willing to give you money just for being there. And one of the things that I've learned in my life is if they're a fucking capitalist and they've got a project, and everyone I know, let me just explain this to you. Basically, if you know who I am and you live in Indianapolis and you're going to start a business, you're probably reaching out to me and asking me to come help you. Whether it's a shop or a new idea, or I already got the space, we're just not making enough money. Can you come in here and take a look around and give me some notes? I'll pay you. I've been consulting other people for their businesses for years. Again, one of the things that I learned, no new friends. No new friends. Because if they're a capitalist, if they believe the system we live in is working as designed, I'll help you. You will never see me again. hmm And am I giving you my best effort? No. So, when I tell you it's so fucking crazy to get to know people. And again, I'm saying I am not famous. I was not seeking fame. I am not making content for likes and comments and follows because motherfuckers are crazy. Motherfuckers are crazy. You get one Bob, right? You get one Bob who is a total fucking sweetheart and sent me. I forgot to air it up, Bob, but it's still sitting right here. Like, if you don't think this isn't gonna sit right here, you're crazy. But motherfuckers are crazy. You know that little trend that's going around, the bum 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 bum. Motherfuckers are crazy. Yes, motherfuckers are crazy. Motherfucker's crazy. Yeah. So when you watch that video of Destiny, the reason I prefaced don't get to know motherfuckers. Do not take these people as your friends. Do not take Destiny as your friend. Understand when your whole life is bent on arguing with other people and you're a capitalist and absolutely everything you're doing is to enrich yourself, even if you are like the social justice warrior. Hey, once you find out who he really is and who he's been fucking, you'll realize Jared was right. No new friends, huh? No new friends. And I'm not saying I'm the best friend you'll ever fucking have. A guy I haven't seen in 20 fucking years came to Indianapolis for 5 days and I bought his ass a hotel room and didn't stay in it with him and was just like, nah, you just have a fucking bed and toilet and shower to yourself while you're in my city instead of sleeping in your fucking car. I think it's the least I can do. And I can swing it. So I don't want the money back. He tried to give me money. I'm like, nope. Exactly, Atlas. Exactly. I was introducing them to I was introducing them to Destiny. I was did you see what I did? A long form like no new friends. Understand even if they come off like a social justice warrior, you have to understand he is enriching himself. He's entrenched himself as like the debater, right? And then it's like, yeah, who's he fucking? Oh, take everything he says with a grain of fucking salt. I'm just I'm just throwing that out there because people are and here's the way. I'm going to go watch the video after I stop, right? There's two paths here. There's two paths here. Either you watch we watch this video and you believe everything you hear and see, right? And you go, "Jared, that guy seems like he's on our side and that he's being targeted, like we could see this happening to you." And then I'm introducing you to the subject by saying no new friends, don't get to know people. When you do and you find out who they're fucking, that will change how you feel about that situation. So you might want to go into that with a little more of an open mind and heed my fucking warning. Because you're gonna be like, oh, I like him. I like Destiny. Mm-hmm. Yep. You're gonna feel real manipulated. You hang on to that too long. Have a good rest of your day, y'all. Wait. Do we posted Eat the Rich, right? Yeah. Uh, Fuentes, in case you were wondering. In case you were wondering who he was fucking. If you don't know who Fuentes is, Nick Fuentes? Anyone? This little turd?